Hello, guys. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be complaining about something that I do understand for this time, and not sponsorships, like something I don't understand, even though I still think I'm right and no one has told me otherwise. Today I'm going to be speaking about headphone jacks. Oh my word. Why is it so fashionable to take things out of people's hands? Like, why is it that I buy a more expensive phone and then I don't get a headphone jack, a feature that everyone should be using? And I'll get to why everyone should be using it a bit later, but I don't understand any reason to remove it. They said it's for battery life, so that they can fit a bigger battery in it. No, it's not for battery life, because with the iPhone 7, which is the first phone that removed the headphone jack successfully, and then everyone moved along with it, um, the battery wasn't even that much bigger. It's absolutely crazy, and the battery life was still awful on an iPhone 7, even though they removed the battery. This was because they made the whole phone bigger with the battery. They made the battery slightly bigger, and they made the whole phone bigger, which means there's more screen for the battery to power. Everyone should be using a headphone jack because you just get worse quality with wireless. Um, I get it's convenient, but I think that everyone at some point in time should be using a headphone jack. Like if they're alone in a room and they just sit there and they're listening to their favorite song, they really, really want to enjoy that song, they should be using a headphone jack. And I believe that everyone has had a moment like that, unless you're very, very young, and then that moment will still come. But the reason why Bluetooth makes worse audio is because Bluetooth costs more to implement in something and it also takes up space. So, like, let's say with in-ear monitors, which is fancy way of saying earbuds or earphones, those things that you put inside your ears, basically. It's like a headphone that goes inside your ear. I don't really have to be explaining this concept. But like something like AirPods Pro are way worse than something around the same price, which is actually cheaper. I believe AirPods Pro 250. The 7 hertz timeless is about $220 to $230. The 7 hertz timeless is way better than AirPods Pros. With headphones, the only good wireless headphones, or half decent, they're not even good because their tuning is awful. But the Momentum 3 wireless from, I think, Bose, and the Sony MK4s are the Sony MK4 is tuned awfully. The Momentum wireless is tuned okay, but they both have not amazing technical performance. Like they're not very wide. They don't have sound stage. They don't have good imaging. They're not intricate. They're not detailed is another word for it. And they're both very, well, they don't have decent um, codecs. So Bluetooth, they package the package, which is the audio that is being sent to your headphones, and they send that package to your headphones. Then your headphones plays the audio package. That packaging is almost never 100% all of the music. They kind of compress the music to package it well, and they don't have amazing compression with the Momentum 3 and the MK4s. Guess what doesn't have or doesn't need that amazing compression? Wires. Because you can send literally the whole thing across the wire. And I get that there's a DAC in a phone, and a worse DAC would be worse than a better DAC, which is just, if you don't understand that, don't worry. It's not that important because most modern DACs, like I even say an iPhone 6 DAC, sounds better than something like Momentum 3 wireless or the MK4. The place where and they're both very expensive, the Momentum 3 wireless and the MK4, you can get a really good set of headphones for that price. Okay, then moving back to in-ear monitors. You can't really beat timeless, a 7 hertz timeless at the price point of $220 to $230 wirelessly. It's impossible. It is literally impossible. But there's actually three main competitors that are wireless. AirPods Pro, which sound very nice, just not $250 nice, and Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro. Or the most of the Samsung Galaxy Buds are pretty good. There are some that are not amazing, but yes, those are pretty decent. But still, they're not worth the money that they cost. And the AKG N400s, when they were on special, they were worth their price. I don't think they're still on special. If they are on special, buy them. They're just still not going to outdo the 7 Hertz Timeless because they were really cheap. And then the issue with earbuds is that you don't get a wide soundstage, you don't get amazing imaging. It just is what it is. You need open back headphones for that, and there aren't any open back headphones that are wireless on the market. So, what was the answer to having no headphone jack? The answer was give them a dongle. I've got a dongle here. It's awful. It's friggin' awful. It's it's floppy. It's whatever. It's a cable that attaches your cable to your phone. That extra cable in a pocket makes it makes it genuinely uncomfortable to cycle or to do anything active in, which I guess is why people want to use wireless stuff. But I use an iPod while I cycle because it's small and it's compact and it has a headphone jack, so I don't have to worry about this dongle breaking in my pocket because there's a headphone jack in my iPod. And that means that I've got a way better connection to my iPod because it just doesn't have something else flopping around in it. And also, all of my connectors are right angle connectors, which means they would fit amazingly on a phone with a headphone jack, where it'd be nice, compact, and nice connection, perfectly fine. With this dongle, it makes the dongle like move outwards a little bit to counterbalance it and just takes more space up. It's just not a good alternative. So there are three alternatives. You have a headphone jack in your phone. You ask people to use wireless, which is what Apple did. If you guys remember, when they released the iPhone 7, which was the first phone that they released without a headphone jack, guess what else they released on that exact same day? AirPods, because they weren't earning enough from giving away free earphones. Let's just be honest. That is what it is. So they released AirPods, which the original AirPods, they're not amazing. They're not good. The AirPods Pros are okay, but again, $250. And then the third option is to wait. I was have a headphone jack in your phone, use wireless, or use a dongle. There are still companies, believe it or not, that have a headphone jack in their phone. I've forgotten one of them. I believe it might be Xiaomi. I'll have it on the screen. Linus did a review on it. It's pretty cool. It's recent. The Asus Zenfone, the recent one, and the all ROG phones had the support for a headphone jack out of the box, except for one, I think, where they had a dongle sort of situation where there was like a fan that you clipped onto the back of your phone. The issue with Asus Zenfone, well, no, the ROG phones, is that they're gaming phones. They're not really built to be listening to music to all the time. So I kind of get the reason why they had no headphone jack on that one ROG phone, but rather a clip with a headphone jack because of the way that you'd be holding your phone while you're gaming. The having a headphone in that port is just not very comfortable. Having a clip rather and having the headphone coming out of the bottom of the port just makes more sense. And then after all of that, what do I think is the answer? I think people should just stop lying to people and put headphone jacks back in the phone. iPhone 13 has way more than enough battery power, even if it took like half an hour off of my battery power, which it won't take that much, but it will. If it did, I'd be more happy to get a phone with a headphone jack than an extra 30 minutes of battery power. But the worst offender is the new Samsung Note because it has a pen in it, but it doesn't have a headphone jack in it. Like literally a pen. I or a stylus. Do you know how big that is? If you were to take away all of that space, you could probably put three or four headphone jacks in the space of the stylus. That is absolutely insane. If you're going to tell me that you don't have enough space for a headphone jack, but you have enough space for a stylus inside your phone, you're just lying to me and you're trying to get me to buy your Galaxy Buds Pro. And then the fact is that all of these companies are selling um, uh, tons of wireless earphones with their products. Like the Nothing phone has Nothing Buds Pros, which is what they released before everything else, before even releasing the phone. Um, the Pixel phones, they have Pixel Buds. Samsung Galaxy has Samsung Galaxy Buds. Apple has the AirPods Pros. I can't think of many off the top of my head, but those are the big four actually. If you don't have an Apple, you have a Samsung or a Pixel, and no one cares about Nothing phones except for the fact that, I mean, it's an amazing phone. Well, sort of. But like, imagine the big three brands: Apple, Samsung, and Pixel. They all have their own wireless earphone brand, and it's only really the budget phones that come out with headphone jacks, other than the ROG phones and the Asus Zen phones. None of this makes sense to me because the more high quality you want your audio, better headphone jacks are going to sound. Like that just makes sense. So I still don't understand why they're not doing this, and I would love to have the headphone jack back. That would be an amazing thing. Please, guys. I mean, how hard could it possibly be if you can fit a stylus in a phone, fit a headphone jack in a phone?